with Heartful Purim 2022. We are in the days leading up. It's known as the Yemei Kabbalah, Erev Shavuot, and Tzaddikim, righteous people, hold of these days as special days of preparation for Purim. We see them in the Gemara, in the Talmud, and Megillah, Yud Aleph, Yud Beis, Yud Gimel, Yud Daled. These are all leading up to the day of Tes Vav for us in Yerushalayim, and for you guys, the rest of the world, Yud Daled, unless you're joining me in Jerusalem or a walled city from the old ancient days, like Tiberia or certain special places which have the special custom of reading the Megillah on the 15th of Adar. We will be this week, already Wednesday night, in the world of Purim for the world, and for Yerushalayim Thursday night. And really there are 2 days of Purim, as Rav Dayan Elgrad so beautifully spoke. I'm sitting right now in my home. I'm joining you this year, Erev Purim, from my house, being that it's very busy right now. Everyone's running around, getting ready, all the preparations. I'd love to share some of the beautiful moments already so far with the kids getting dressed up. You know, my daughter with the dreads and the, you know, this, whatever you call it, circles and crosses, you know, the famous game. And she's dressed up with that theme. And then my other son's like Nana Nachman theme. And it's all fun and games, thank God, in the Goldsmith home. And it's also a bit of a balagan, being that we've got to get so ready, so many shlach manas. But the real point is to get to the heart of the matter, get to the heart of what Purim is about, where we're at right now. L'chaim, everybody. I'm English, I'm drinking some tea. Plus, it is freezing. Jerusalem is cold right now. Thank God. So we're not in the studio based on the fact that the studio team are busy with a big SIEM, a big event going on, and I didn't want to like stress anyone out by having to get the keys and stuff. So decided to be home. I thought it'd be nice to just have a little bit of a home energy. That's where Purim mostly for me would be celebrated, in the house, just like we have Pesach, same kind of thing. Very important to bring these special days into your home, not just to leave them in the shul or in your, you know, local ulam, hall or group or community, whatever, but to bring it into your house, bring it into your heart. That's the concept. That's what we're trying to work on today. And we have to do it with in mind for all the people that need peace in Ukraine, that are no longer in their homes, that have been dislocated or will need to be relocated back to their, please God, their home one day. And if in the meanwhile to these new homes, these unpermanent homes in Ukraine, there's such a difficult situation going on, a lack of peace in the world. And I actually even met people this weekend. It was really beautiful, who, thank God, visiting Yerushalayim in You Hashem and Kala. Can't really get into who they are and what they're private people, thank God. But one of the stories was that they're, you know, Russian, Ukrainian, they're mixed up with different people, so that they have very much to heart what's been going on. And thankfully their family and the people involved were able to, you know, relocate in a safe way, and they were able to get all the different things they needed from there before this all happened. So we are in a time where we are seeing a lot of global tension, and this is the kind of thing that when we're going into Purim and we're in these special days now of Eitz Ratzon, days of will. As we said in the Gemara, these are Havaminas. These are days which could have been a day of where we read the Megillah, depending on all the different cheshbonos, different way of calculating, depending on where you live and the situation. So basically, just to make it simple for everyone, don't worry, Wednesday night, Thursday days when you're going to read the Megillah, and us with Yerushalayim, it's going to be Thursday night, Friday morning, we're going to read the Megillah and do all the mitzvahs of the Yom, Shlach Manos, Matan Sivyonim. These 4 mitzvahs that we do, and the Suda as well, Suda's Purim, are connected to the Yud Kei Vav Kei. Like we have the Daled Parshiyos, so on Purim we also experience these 4 aspects. Like the Shem Havaya has 4 letters. There's always the Panemius, which is the 5th, which we'll talk about at some point. But right now there's a certain need to get to the Nekudas Halev, to the heart level. Because in order to be able to do all these mitzvahs in a real way, and I just had the divine providence of hearing a class based on the Dirshu Mishnah Berurah from Rabbi Tugendorf, one of my good friends I mentioned already, Rabbi Tugendorf, check it out, Mishnah Berurah, lively, should be lively, just like Hashir should be alive, energy. So he's trying to give over the Mishnah Berurah in a live way, and he was talking about the kavanas of when you're praying, the intentions, when the mindfulness, when you're praying tefillah, when you're saying the Shem Hashem, Adon HaKol, the Adnus, the Shem Havaya, you're saying that name, you have to have in mind all the different levels of He's the master of everything, and He was, He will be, this understanding, this connection to this godly force, the creation, the Hashem Himself, the godly force, the master of everything, who's creating everything constantly. Tamid, Master Bereshis, is constantly creating and creating. Yesh Ma'ayin, something from nothing, with this energy of renewal, this energy of creation going in a moment-to-moment level. As we mentioned last week already, was quite a raw class. The idea of removing the matrix, removing the cover-up. This is a time now we're already, hopefully after Pasha Zocher, Shabbos Zocher, and now we're already heading towards Pasha Sav, Zrizas. We're already awake with the korbanos, the sacrifices, already aware. There's a lot of mitzvahs, a lot of things going on right now. There's a lot to do. And that's why, one, we'll keep the class a little bit shorter. Two, that's why we're in the house. Three, that's why personally I'm a little bit mentally a little bit like in a different headspace than usual, because I'm not like just going from studio straight to my work, to my studio to work. It's been a busy few days, thank God, with guests in the country, and it was a pleasure hosting them, and then now doing all the different mitzvahs. And I'm cheering on my wife. She's like unbelievable making the shlach manos, and please God we'll be able to do the mitzvahs Matanas Sivyonim. If you want to join our campaigns, you have that on our page, Matanas Sivyonim. You can give the gifts to the poor. You can join and partner with Emunalive.com. Thank God the link is a very secure place on PayPal, and let me know, and I'll see it anyway at some point where we, thank God, the donations come through, and it will go to the causes of the tours and the mitzvah Bob Bayom. We have actually on the page, we'll be able to give the Matanas Sivyonim to the gifts to the poor, and the shlach manos, the gifts that everyone should be preparing. The most important thing I remember when learning about shlach manos, the gifts we give, that we should give them with heart. It's not just the amount. We mentioned yesterday, Rav Dan Elgod explained halachically that we have a certain amount of money that we should spend. We shouldn't overdo it. In our generation, there's always a tendency to overdo things, like try and impress or whatever, dress to impress, buy to impress, all the brands and everything. But really, we should just be very real with what we're doing, especially right now with what's happened. Excuse me, with the cold out there. The thing, inflation and Corona challenge, all the way the economy has gone, it's definitely tested us, all of us, financially. So we have to be a bit more real with how we use everything financially. And that would be my recommendation, not to overdo it. Purim and Pesach, more expensive times. Everyone should be blessed with more shefa, more abundance. We should realize the mindset of abundance. We've had a class about that this time of year. To develop a mindset of abundance, to draw down the divine hashpah, influence, to bring it down into our daily life. And we have to realize that when we're in Purim, the power of tefillah, the prayer, that people message me privately, but I obviously won't say any details, but the point of doing 6 hours of spodidus, or using those special hours of Purim, the late night, the early morning, those moments where we're not running around doing mitzvahs, to really talk to Hashem, Yishboch Nafshi, to pour out your soul and to cry to Hashem, with the situation right now in the world. And you just go back into your own home, as Gedalia so rightfully put from Rabbi Nachman. If you see a war in the world, it's the Baal Shem Tov and the Tzaddikim, Rabbi Nachman ben Feiga, Rabbi Nachman ben Simcha teach there's a war going on inside of us. It's not just over there in the Ukraine. It's something relevant for us. We're going through inner struggles, inner battles. It's maybe with the phones, Netflix or whatever it is that's wasting your time, or any other kind of phone addiction, the social media world. I mean, it's built by geniuses to capture our attention, so we have to be real with that. Hopefully, by doing these classes on these platforms, YouTube, Facebook, the Spotify, hopefully even Instagram, we'll get it up there as well, a little bit, maybe TikTok. We have the ability, hopefully, to bring the holiness to those levels, to those places, and to use all these different formats and platforms to elevate ourselves and tune our hearts to hear what we're here for. Rahman boy. I was saying to my friend, he just called me from Manchester, very special Yid, one of my old friends there, and I said, what am I going to talk about? Rahman boy. I'm going to talk about Hashem wants your heart. Hashem wants to have a relationship with you. Someone was asking me about Shalom bias, doing this big feelers for their marriage, to save their marriage, Hashem Shemenu, that we should all have peace in the home. Other people were messaging me about finding a shidduch, a soulmate. All these things that really, to understand that during this time, this week, we should work on connecting more to our true selves, as Rav Sodek and Rav Dainaga brought down, to believe in ourselves. And it's Rav Arush has quoted many times from Shalom ben Yamna. We dedicate our shir to his full refuah, Hanaliba bas Simcha, and Tila Rivka bas Masha, all having for Shlema, please God, full healing. And the idea that believing in yourself is very much getting more aware how Purim is a time ad lioda, when you're drinking and you're bringing out more your essence through the Sudas Purim. And obviously this is after you've done all the mitzvahs of Megillah, and we already learned that Megillah is Megala, the Hester Megala, or the hidden aspects of yourself, to reveal more the inner reality. Megillah's Esther is like a shofar waking us up, like a melech, we say again and again in the Megillah, the king. And melech is also the idea of moach, moach, shalat al-leiv, as the Balatanya says. The mem is the melech, is the moach, and the leiv, the lamed, is the leiv, and the chaf is the koved, that you should be the soul, the neshama that we're talking about, united souls, again and again. This concept of drawing souls together, learning the language of the soul, learning what it means to have a soul. It should come through your human reality, that you're made in the divine image, that you have ability to spiritualize yourself. And that is what we're discussing more in our United Souls course, where now it's coming out in the form of a Substack. Thank God I can say that word. Substack. It's a nice platform to present my book, United Souls, and the course concepts, and hopefully the classes we're doing here. Like yesterday, we had a wonderful musicians. We wanted to bring some young guys in, and they came from Ziva Torah, a yeshiva by Rav Shmuel Bazil, someone who's also a very musical and spiritual rabbi and teacher. And his students came, Nooch and his crew, and it was very, very inspiring to see those guys in our studio. And if you actually listen to the class and the music, it was very uplifting in a very soulful way. All those songs were composed by Nooch, so big shout out to him. Big shout out to his brother, DJ Hudakris, who made the simcha that introduced me to him. His Sheva Rochas, thank God, and he'll hopefully be DJing for Nissan Black and all the other good people that I Unity book with. I have an announcement for my Unity bookings. I am offering now with a company called Citron Films, one of my friends Yaakov, who's done many of the Nissan Black recent videos, like Change and Adored and other ones like that. That I'm hopefully offering you guys the opportunity to do 1 minute promos or that kind of format to get your business, your content more professional, more done. And we'll put up some examples on my status, whoever is on my status, personal status. But for the Breslev point, it would be amazing at some point if we could get some high level stuff done. Thank God we do have our studio here, so we're in a good place. But for me personally, I want to enable, like I've said, all these musicians, artists, creative speakers to have a platform. And one of the ways is to give them an opportunity to put out a promo that can get the awareness, because nowadays 1 minute's all you need really, just to touch base. We spoke about it in the podcast I featured, Think Torah, there about Joe Rogan and TikTok, how there's these long form podcasts, and then there's the short form in terms of how we get the attention through TikTok and other platforms. We are always posting our stuff on TikTok and Reels and all the different new shorter form platforms, because we know that that's where people are nowadays with the attention span. Everything's very has to be very hard hitting, and Halavai, we should have that kind of content. But in terms of the Emuna, should really wake people up, just like we're saying the Megillah, Hamelech, it wakes people up. That's the idea of Purim, the Graga and the Haman and the noise we make, B'chias Amalek. It should wake the neshamas up. I'm here to wake up the souls of humanity. Me personally, My birthday is this Shabbos. I'm 42 years old, my Hebrew birthday, and it's amazing when you turn like that next stage. It's an opportunity to renew yourself, just like Purim is really a Megillah, as Rabbi Tatz brought down from Tzaddikim. I'm assuming the Maharal and other Tzaddikim. Shalom, yes, Shalom, Shalom from Jerusalem. So someone's saying Shalom from Germany. So the idea of Rabbi Tatz in London there in the JLE, I remember him teaching us that when you hear the Megillah, you're hearing a summary of everything that happened this last year in the night. And in the morning, when you hear the Megillah, it's bringing down the new light. Just like the shofar, when you hear the shofar in the night, we don't hear the shofar in the night, but the first day of Rosh Hashanah, it's like a completion of the year that was. And the second day of Rosh Hashanah is now the new divine hashpah coming down for the new year, the new energy. And there's a sort of completion, like the Megillah in the night is a whole story of everything that happened in a hidden way. And our goal is to see through it. How Hashem is really there, even though the name of God is not mentioned once in the Megillah, but we're able to tune in to the hidden story. And that's the idea right now. What's going on globally in the world, there's an inner story, an inner content. And that's why the heart level is where we're going to sense this truth, the wisdom, the knowing heart, this Bina, Yisera, this understanding and this Das and Chokhmah comes through the mind into the heart. We should bring those levels together so we can make sense of our life, make sense of the year that was, and make sense of the year that we're going into. So for me personally, having a birthday on that significant time, the Shabbos, I'll be able to hopefully also, for my year that was and year that's coming, and as a birthday boy coming to Shabbos, I give you all a blessing. Everyone should be zocher to have Rahman Alivoy, to give their hearts over to Hashem, to have a relationship with Hashem that will bring all the abundance that we talk about by having a more Emuna in Hashem. Emuna is our future, to have more espodidus, more connection, more relationship with God. Bring that into our marriage. Bring that into our search for abundance. Bring that in to be successful because we're one with the divine reality of creation. We've broken through the matrix. We've broken through the cover-up. We're no longer stuck in all the pain and difficulties for our children. We're no longer like fearful of them or worried about them. We're able to believe that we're doing our best and we're able to be hopefully good agents for them to go ahead in their journey and give them the tools to be able to do what they need to do. And that's something which we all have the power, all of us. We all have this power, every one of us, to empower ourselves to be shlichim of Hashem Yisbarach, to be agents of a Kodesh Baruch Hu, Kodesh Baruch Shrinte. Anyway, for some of the YouTube videos going a bit laboric, maybe it's too much internet going on here in my house. So I always like to go to the studio, got the green screen, get the edited version up on the website. We'll have to wait for that next week. That's why we are going to cut this class a little bit shorter than we have been recently. And we do recommend you to join us next week, next Monday, please God. We'll do, and also Sunday. You know, I'm asking Duvi Shapiro if he'll come. Maybe yes, no, we'll see. It's another artist which I'm Unity Bookings with. Please God, you guys can reach out to Duvi Shapiro for your weddings, for your simchas. And Baruch Hashem, there are good things going on around us. It's not just all not good news. We've got to tune into the good news. People are able to travel more. People are having simchas. People are able to, hopefully, with the inflation, be able to make better decisions financially, and to hopefully the leadership will improve around us, and that we'll hopefully have a better year ahead leading up to Purim and Pesach. The Gula, Samach Gula, the redemption is next to the redemption, these two redemptive times as we complete the year of months, an Ubayur, a leap year. We complete that and we start a new year of months. We'll talk about that as we come up to the Parshas of Para and the Parshas of, please God, of Chodesh Hazeh Lachem. It's Chadshus, Parshas of Chodesh, the idea of renewal, and Rabbi Nachman's birthday, and all the different divine energies that's coming. Would be the Babich Rebbe's birthday during this, and all the new energy and the redemptive Parshas we're going to bring alive during the Chodesh of Nisan, of miracles. This is a time where the end of the Chadoshim, the end of exile, the Ikvus de Mashiach, the whole body of humanity stands on our generation. And really we're the ones to greet Pnei Mashiach Sekenu. We're the ones that through our heart level, through sincere tefillah, through really suck, if we're screaming out with our whole heart to really seek out Hashem in everything, and we give the shlach manos, the give of heart, we do the matanos when we give to the poor, we give with our chiyas, our energy, our heart level. When we hear the Megillah, to think on a deep inner level what this is all, how it's relevant to you and me, how Hashem's communicating with us through the Torah, through the Megillah, through Tanakh, through the 24 crowns, through the Talmud, through all the different levels. Thank God, I just made a siyum with my son on Moed, the whole of Seder Moed in Shas, the whole beautiful Seder, Masechet Megillah is within that Seder. Beautiful siyum. It's a big simcha, Baruch Hashem. Have a son who's able to do that, and another son who's finishing a Masechta, thank God, in Ian Megillah, thank God, to be able to really get those kinyanim, those acquisitions of Torah, to understand that we have a soul to the Torah. That's one of the most important things not to forget during Purim, to find a little bit of time to learn, to get ready for Lamed Yom Kodem HaChag, to start learning Hilchos Pesach, or some deep svarim, some deep ways to connect ourselves to Hashem Yisbarach, so our heart level is connected. The whole idea is to get the Torah inside the lave. The idea when you're drinking l'chaim and you're saying these prayers, like Rav Arush has on the website, Breslev.com, you're saying these prayers, so you should drink well. One of the main points is just that it should open up the heart a little bit more, psichas alev, and you should be able to pour out your heart with Torah and tefillah and spirituality and love, and a good word to your family, and a good word to your soulmate, a good word to other souls. Learn the language of the soul. That's United Souls, what we're talking about. A relationship podcast, to know how to talk to the soul, to talk to your soulmate, to encourage, to be there, to be supported. Thank God there's some amazing podcasts out there. I've been recommending some of them about different aspects, and it's very important to tune into all these other platforms that are available as well, not just ours, because we have our focus, and thank God there's Shivim Pon and B'Torah. We have to open ourselves to learn and to grow and to keep sharing. Remember, I ask you deeply to share these podcasts, to share the Emuna content that we're putting out on all our platforms, thank God. And I wish everybody a happy Purim, to enjoy the Purim, to realize that Hashem is taking us into a whole nother level of revelation, of a relationship with Hashem, and that will lift up our relationships, it will lift up our homes, it will lift up our families, it will lift up the world to a higher level of understanding of what we're here, the true level of understanding, and to tune into the inner aspects of creation, to understand, to break through the matrix, to break through the blocks, to break through the cover-up, and to see the Gilui of Hashem, the Gilui of ourselves, our true selves, to enjoy being who we are, to love ourselves, to care for ourselves, to care for our family, care for the world, to care for the larger people. We have to start, though, with the lay, with the heart, to have this beautiful heart. And I'll just end off one concept that says Bereshis. It begins with a base, and the Torah ends with a lamed. So when we understand that the Torah is a lave, it's a heart, it's a base, and lamed, which is a heart, and the whole idea is what you put inside it is Torah. You should put inside your mind and your heart Torah and spirituality, the Megillah, beautiful, most chaviv mitzvah, most beautiful mitzvah, hearing the Megillah, hearing the miracles, hearing the love. It's filled with just love for us. How much love there is in history, that there's always been a way we've survived somehow. That was one of the conversations I had with my friends, that somehow their family survived all the communists and the Nazis and Machshamam and all the different enemies we've had over the generations. I'm going to sing on Seder night, and we're able to then make simchas ahead of time, and Baruch Hashem, which all be blessed with a wonderful, happy Purim. And as we know, the famous joke goes that we were in danger. Thank God we prayed. Hashem saved us. What do? We make a l'chaim. We go and eat. That's our people. We have a beautiful Purim and a beautiful Shabbos. Following that, Pasha Sav is a zrizas of Kohanim and the zrizah for Korbanos, and giving up, sacrificing ourselves for a higher cause, for a higher purpose, higher mission. Keep sharing Emuna, keep sharing these classes, join up all our different campaigns. We're going to have after Purim the Pesach preparation focus, and get ourselves into Pesach. The mouth should speak only words that we need to hear, and be able to get together in a real way to understand the language of the soul, so we can start talking more and more deeply together. And yes, Kala Kavod Yana Gabali, we want you guys reach out to these wonderful musicians that have been in our class. We've got a wonderful playlist of amazing guests, 64 classes. The playlist link, our main sharing of the classes, you can go there, or you can find it on Facebook, and there's a massive long playlist. Or go to the podcast list and go back all the classes. Amazing class, amazing music. Torahs from Arush himself. Please God, he'll be joining us again one day soon. In the meanwhile, share Emuna Global. Thanks again for joining us. Happy Purim. And my shlachmanis to all of you are these classes. That's my way of sharing my inner self with you. And please God, we should be able to just connect, please, in the base of English, upon him, face to face, with Shir Sakena. Amen. Thank you, Yoni Kabali. Be blessed.